we started?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it's recording. Oh God. It's there.
Yeah,
It's fine.
yeah. I'm also having a bad hair day. It looks like shit. But
Yeah.
it's okay.
Bad hair day. It's finally a bad hair month.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what are we talking about? You decided this one since I
Mhm.
decided the previous one. I kind of pushed you into something you didn't want to talk about.
Yeah. So we are gonna talk about life.
Wow.
We are gonna talk about Christian's career. No, we are gonna talk about just the shit that we want to do for the rest of our life and what we think of the current career choices which we both took and both kind of happy and regret.
Mm-hmm.
In the same time, it's a very mixed feeling job. The job itself is a nice one. The purpose of it, the being a veterinarian is like
Yeah.
a noble thing. Such a nice thing to
It's
do.
a satisfying job.
But the thing is, what we realized is we would love to be a vet, but not by obligation but by choice, and we decided that there should be a smarter way to make money, or at least our financials should not be dependent on veterinary medicine
Mm.
practice alone, because veterinarians are paid like shit.
Yeah, absolute dog shit. Let me just find one more statistic because I wanted to look at. I'm just teacher salaries.
Yeah, very close to that. It's both shit.
It's more. Wait.
Okay,
No, okay. It's pretty close though. So
like
for
what,
the,
$500 $200.
I'm doing the Norwegian one
Uh-huh.
because that's relevant for me, right? I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So that one's 600,000 a year.
It's
Cool,
a
wait.
currency, because
Cool
people
enough.
will think it's euros
Cool
and
enough.
dollars and like
Six.
shoot you.
Yeah, exactly. Not. So just remove.
Just say in
10.
euros or dollars, so then
Just
it's
remove 10, 11,
so
almost 12 at this
60,000
point.
euros.
Yeah, 60 to maybe even.
Yeah, $65,000 is the annual, roughly the annual salary for a teacher.
Roughly.
How much does a vet make?
The exact same.
Okay, but who works more? I mean, both are noble person, both are awesome, but
But we have none of the benefits, right? So, okay, a teacher has the most vacation out of any
oh
profession.
yeah, oh yeah.
They have the entire summer off. Yeah, they work in the weekend sometimes. But a vet works, okay, so the way, it depends on where you live, but for us, we work probably every third to fourth weekend
Mhm.
fully. Like just, you're fully on the clock. And you respond to emergencies and anything that might come in.
And I also have talked to a lot of veterinarians and friends who have worked in vet clinics for 10 years or so. You always, or most of the time, kind of overshoot 8 hours, and it easily
Yeah.
becomes 9 or 10
For
hours.
me,
And the pay is mostly the same.
Yep.
Sometimes there is a more pay, but it's just hourly pay. It's not like a life
Yeah,
changing
hourly
money.
pay. Yeah, it won't be a huge amount. Maybe you get a small overtime
Mm-hmm.
increase. But usually, yeah, you do usually work overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, typically like half an hour to an hour at least every
Mhm.
day.
Mm-hmm.
At least half an hour overtime. But that's
Yeah.
because I wanted to be there for longer, but
Mm.
because I just wanted to at least get some knowledge, even though arguably how much I got. But by doing the overtime, that is.
Mm.
But yeah, it's a lot of overtime, and you do work weekends, and you do not have any breaks. Like you work on Christmas, definitely you should work on Christmas.
Oh really? Yes. Well, okay.
Yeah, some
Fuck.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but that's the thing that we signed up for. But
Mm.
that's what we would like to do it like with by choice, you know. It's
Yeah.
not like a
And the problem is, right, no matter how much you like these things and no matter how passionate you are, if you get really terrible conditions, you will be burned out.
yeah, you will be, because that's one of the biggest reasons of veterinary medicine, veterinarian suicide, right? Like compassion fatigue,
Yeah.
and burnt out. Let's just burnt out. Sometimes you just don't realize until one day you just fucking have a meltdown, you know.
Yeah, in front of somebody, which
Yeah.
is
Even more fucked up, like in
Mm.
front of a patient owner, right? I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
like because objectively it's bad conditions. Like statistically,
Yeah, I mean that too.
objectively,
Like a first
it's
world
bad.
country like Norway, it's bad. Like think of the rest of the world.
Yeah,
like,
think of India or something like that.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
I mean, India is chill though. India is very different. India doesn't fit under like any of this. Like no veterinarian is committing suicide in India for sure, because they are having a chill life.
Is it-
Mostly because the jobs are government based. The private ones are good enough. They have their own thing. At least the ones that I know are doing healthy.
Yeah, they're fine.
It's mostly in the first world countries where the people really love their pets more than their fellow human beings. That's where it's become an emotional issue where
Yeah.
it's a problem between a patient owner and the doctor
Yeah.
rather than the pets are the easiest thing, right?
Yeah.
Every veterinarian says the pets are the easiest one to fix or help.
Yeah, it's
The
not the pet,
patient
it's the owner.
owners.
It's the owner that's the issue.
Mm.
So the thing is, we look into the statistics and also the book, right? I mean, granted, only one book, but it was solely about it, so it felt relevant.
I mean, we saw statistics, right? Like,
Yeah, and statistics on their own.
yeah, it doesn't even have to
Statistically, you will be sad and depressed most of the time
yeah.
because of the conditions. So the conditions are really bad. Just to clarify those, because it's been a while since we mentioned them. It's like 88% burnout rate.
Yeah.
And it used to be the number one suicide rate of any profession.
Yeah.
But now it's human medicine is overtaken. But
Yeah,
the
do you
burnout
know,
rate.
do you know like the name of the book actually?
Which one?
The what we read for the Vet for Life, right?
Vet for Life
by Dr. Lennon Fu. You know what I recently saw? I just wanted to tell you. Like I just saw yesterday or today. There's a new thing in UK. His post for hiring. 3 days of work, 3-day work week. Okay.
Yeah.
No weekend. Only 3 day you work. £50,000. Not bad though.
Yeah, he's really trying to make it manageable for doctors.
Yeah, that's the only way because he said right, like the conditions has to improve means the fucking schedule has to be scrapped and changed. Like it has to be fixed in some way or another. You know, at least 2 veterinarian shifts in a day. You know, 2 different vets maybe like.
Yeah, they don't
5 hours,
overwork.
5 hours, so that it becomes even above 8 hours. It's fine. It's like 5 hours. You work 5 hours a day. So I don't think we'll be complaining so much.
Yeah, but the problem right now is that you work as much as a human doctor, but get paid as much as a teacher.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that's the fucking nail in the head. Yeah.
So, the way that we change that is by looking into other avenues in a way.
Yeah, so we wanted to like the point is to like diversify the portfolio, which we are repeating in one way or another in almost every 10 videos, I guess.
Yeah, because that's the main focus, right?
Yeah, because we care about this a lot, because we chose this profession, and there are a lot of young people who are also gonna pursue this, or already pursuing, or working somewhere miserable conditions, you know.
Yeah, and they think, oh fuck, what to do now?
Yeah.
And then you see no progress, right? You want to make progress, right?
Yeah.
At least somewhat personally, or in your profession, or anything like that. You don't know how, right? We don't know how.
So for that, like my escape or my way of solving it or seeing it was to do like a PhD, be a researcher or something. So I'm trying to look at the labs which we had talked in a couple of episodes before in the podcast, earlier episodes actually. We are still actively looking. So I have shortlisted some labs. I'm looking at what is my interest. First I started with cancer. Now I'm in synthetic biology. Then I moved to CRISPR and genetic engineering. Still connected to synthetic biology. Then species de-extinction. So I'm going through this research. Basically doing literature study on my own to find a better lab where I could work as a PhD researcher, and maybe in the evenings or weekends I can work as a doctor, or I can be a researcher full time, which is much more enjoyable and something that I have fun with. I guess I'm sure that's what I want to do at this point. So that's what I'm looking at. So currently Christian was thinking of he also doesn't feel like this profession is a long-term thing, like the veterinary, being a veterinarian compulsively with obligation for next 30-40 years of his life. So we were just talking like what he wants to do, or what is his decisions, you know, what are you thinking about the entire situation, because you don't want to be full-time vet all the time.
Because the reason, we look at a lot of clinics because our university is a clinic, and I also have some clinics back home, and I just notice people in like 30, 40, they're in their 30s or 40s or something. And then if they weren't a vet, they wouldn't be like, they wouldn't know what to do, right?
Yeah.
They're so stuck in the thing.
Yeah, that's very important thing though. Like most vets, that suicide happens because when something bad happens, they just think their life is gone, because the only thing they are good at or they are passionate about is veterinary medicine and pets, and they don't know anything else other than that. That's somewhat sad, like that's why you cannot always be one trick pony. Gone are the days where you are having one skill and you're good enough. Currently there is a very interesting thing called double PhD problem. This is not only in veterinary medicine, in every field. You cannot you cannot be an expert in just one problem. Double PhD means let's say I'm a PhD in AI or something, okay? He's a PhD in biomedical engineering. We both will be a loser, or we both will be suffering in our own fields, or will not be the top notch bleeding edge scientist, or be very successful if we don't have like an expertise which is somewhat similar to a PhD in another field equally. For example, if I'm an AI engineer and a veterinary surgeon, it somewhat puts me in a very very higher pedestal than most people. The same way, if he's a biomedical engineer, if he knows some modeling, prosthetics design, and is a veterinarian, like completely different things. It can really change your career path, and you're not stuck with one thing, and you have options.
Yeah, one bachelor or one master isn't enough anymore. Is that what you're saying?
Double PhD means even one PhD is not
PhD
enough.
even.
Yeah. Even a PhD is not enough. That's how fucked we are.
Yeah. So
that's a very serious thing though. You can Google it. The double PhD problem. Even if you have a PhD, bachelor's, master's, PhD in same domain. Computer science. Yeah. And you still...
It's not enough.
Not enough.
That's insane. So, yeah. And a bunch of other problems too. So just seeing people that are kind of just stuck with it, like you originally intended to do yourself, and just seeing that they're not... you notice that they're not as happy as they probably should be. You feel kind of bad for the fact that that is happening to them, because they do look tired a lot, and it's just like, dang, I know it's not illness. I see that it's something more. So then just not wanting that for myself, what the fuck can I do, right? Oh, God. So, big problem is the wage thing, but the biggest for me is the hours you have to spend on it. And just so much, you spend like 5-10 years.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's mostly the time, If the wage is something also, if you can work less, probably we won't complain, I would think, because you can always find another job, try to learn something when you have time. When you have time. The thing is, you will be tired. We both worked in the clinic, right? Even though we mostly observed a lot of things, not did anything.
Yeah.
We slept like a dead man by the end of the day because we are just tired as hell. Like,
just absorbing way too much shit. And it wasn't even that bad. Like, I've done worse physically stuff. I was not as tired. Yeah,
it's a shockingly fucking sad thing though about this.
Yeah, because when I remember I worked on the farm for a long time. It was 13 hours every day, manually laboring. So it was an organic farm, so we couldn't use pesticides. So you had to go out with a sickle and manually remove every single weed that was on the farm before he cut the grass. So that's what I did for like a summer, basically. And it was so much better, almost. Yeah. Because you have to deal with so much more in a clinic. That it's
a lot different of moving parts.
Yeah, it's a different kind of fatigue, and the entire time you feel like you shouldn't be there.
Yeah, I mean, it is also something like being a fresher, you might feel that way, or still being a student, we all might feel that way. But the thing is, long term also, our experienced professors and teachers who are working in a clinic also don't have time for anything else. That's what we realized.
They do only that.
Vet.
They're a vet, and then that's where it stops.
You sleep and you be a vet again.
You're a good vet, granted, but you don't do much else. So what your idea is to somehow make enough money at something else so that you can basically pay a vet to walk you through.
Exactly. That's the my $1 million idea for myself. Just like dude, you have a hobby, right? Like you are like Jake Paul. You are a millionaire. Several millions. You have hundreds of millions.
Yeah, Jake Paul is a good.
Yeah. So you have all the millions. So what do you know? You are suddenly interested in boxing. Fucking hire the highest trainer, the best strength and conditioning, or best boxing coach, build a boxing ring at home. Fucking train, do what? Go ballistic on that. See, like
It doesn't matter because you can just pay people to help you out with it.
Exactly. So what we decided was basically the reason to do PhD was we both are in a position where we don't have money to afford. We are not rich anyway. So we still need a stable income, and we both are kind of interested in research to some extent. At least I'm interested in, which we will discuss, like what you are interested in. I'm really interested in, like I'm putting several hours a week just to know what I am interested in, the biomedical field, synthetic biology, CRISPR, gene editing, genomics, and all those things. So I am really passionate about that. While you are doing that, and also while you are in academia, you have the ability to start your own ventures. So that's something I'm gonna do throughout my life, to start a company, try to be successful. If they are failing, find why it fails, and then try to come back stronger and make a better product or better company. That's my goal, ultimate goal. While still being a vet by choice. So we always need the steady income. So PhD is a very good sweet spot where, and PhD people are also paid very less, by the way, very less. But the life of a PhD student is much more relaxed than a full-time working vet, according to our research.
Yeah.
And I have worked with a lot of PhD students in my job, in my internships and apprenticeship. I know how PhD is. It's not really says no PhD student is committing suicide, like literally by burnt out or something. That's not the case ever.
It's a lot more relaxing, you said.
Not more relaxing, more also meaningful, because you are doing the research topic that you chose. In a way.
Yeah, at least that they're interested in. So.
Yeah, you and the professor are mutually interested in, with funding.
Yeah, you can't just do whatever you want.
And you are also allowed to start a company. That's also like a very...
yeah, because that's also another thing. If you start a company while you're a vet,
yeah, you have no time.
yeah, you have no time, and the person that's like hiring you might just go, "Wait, are you trying to quit?"
Yeah.
And then
when will you have time for family? Never.
Yeah, that's another thing. Okay, so what was it? Like out of the 88%, the number one problem is, okay, the reasons for 88% of it is like compassion fatigue, and then you don't have enough time. But it causes the number one problem is that it causes family issues.
Yeah.
The lack of time causes family issues because you don't have any work-life balance.
Yeah.
So that's what happens. So number one issue is working time, and then compassion fatigue is, I think, somewhat second. And then that causes family life balance, work-life balance. Jesus. So you don't have any time. You're already struggling, just baseline struggling with that. So at least you can do a PhD and do something a little bit more relaxing.
Yeah.
So that you have the time to make these other things work, so that you can eventually earn enough.
Yeah.
So that you can hire a vet to walk you through the stuff that you wanted to learn at the end of the day. Because that's also something that's fairly important. When you're like 50, people don't care what you did in your 30s. They just care about what you can do right now. You see? So however long it takes, it doesn't really matter. As long as you get there.
Yeah. So like, yeah, that's why we are like discussing, at least for you in his case, like what exactly he wants to do, where he has the liberty of getting that liberty of having time in the first place, and also doing something he likes to do, having a steady income while he has the time to explore as well. And also one more thing is, like in your case, you have the advantage of age, so you are young enough that you can explore. And also what I was telling him is, the best thing is, even if you try PhD and you don't like it, even if you try a business, it fails multiple times, business have failed, you can always go back to your own city in Norway. That job will be always waiting for you, and you are not going to lose anything. You know?
Yeah, because out of the 8 spots, 1 vet is available.
Yeah.
So out of 8 vacant spaces, one is one vet is there to fill it.
Yeah, that's how fucked up it is, right?
So technically it's a good choice of profession because we like the work. We like the work itself. It's a satisfying thing. It's a nice thing. And it's a huge demand for your work, labor.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing if you choose to be a vet, but just be be aware of the big negatives. Like you'll get a job anywhere you search. Like every 100% of the places I've just
Yeah.
given a call, I've never
Like,
ever.
dude, please come. Man.
Yeah.
You joined. Congratulations. Welcome
I'll
to
be
our
like,
family.
sorry. Like literally, when I called first clinic, I just called them and they said you start tomorrow.
Oh
Okay.
Okay, no.
No
interview.
resume, anything.
Okay, sure.
There wasn't anything.
No transcripts. How
Yeah.
much grade did you get? Like nothing.
And that's consistently happened. The only time where I kind of got rejected was when I needed to drive to get there. Like it was a faraway place.
Yeah.
It was like not in the middle of the mountains, but somewhat more remote. So you needed a car, and I don't have a driver's license.
So that was the reason for rejection, by the way.
Yeah, not the fact that I didn't know anything,
Yeah.
had zero experience.
Yeah.
Because they'll just
They want somebody with a degree to fucking come. Just be dumb, it's fine. We can teach you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very fun in that way, but massive upsides, right? But also massive downsides.
Yeah. I mean, massive downsides compared to upside when everything is mostly negative other than the positive side. Yeah.
Yeah, the work itself is fine though.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I have seen like people enjoy. Some people are meant to be with these vets, you know.
Yeah, but that's not a connection that we have.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
That's and also we are not shameful to disclose that because we have to be logically. Who are you cheating and lying? Like you.
yeah,
are,
if I lie about it, I'll
yeah,
just be miserable.
Miserable. You will be miserable, right?
So
yeah.
there's no need because
Yeah.
we've seen what passionate people look like. They just don't care about these negatives. We mention
Yeah.
it. You can mention it to them, and they'll just go, "Okay, sure."
Yeah, because they are very passionate. It is not really a problem though
Yeah.
for them. That's the thing, right? For why is strong enough for some people, like some of our seniors, like one guy is there, like I don't think he cares about this being an issue. I think he only enjoys being in the clinic more than being
Yeah.
at home. So yeah.
I mean, if it was between like literally constant cocaine, like
Yeah.
or that job, they would choose that job.
Yeah. So yeah. So what do you think? What are the ideas that you have? Because we spoke about it once long time back, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So we talked about the fact that Norway is kind of bad in that way. And the fact that you don't get that much paid. I mean, you don't get that much paid anywhere.
Anywhere, that's true, and taxed heavily.
Tax heavily, and then also staying in Norway is very comfortable.
Yeah, the bubble, right?
Yeah.
The comfort bubble. Like, you can never leave now. That's why, you know, what happens is, like, when you're comfortable and you stay in the same place, you probably will be happy to pay the taxes as well because you know that you cannot go anywhere else.
You
like,
just kind of,
accept
and you
it.
also just accept it and wind down in a way.
Exactly, yeah.
So that sucks.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit at the end of it just going, dang,
Yeah.
so many things slip past. Because you look at your grandparents. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm about the age where they start to kind of go and reflect
Yeah.
on their whole life. So you get to kind of see what they reflect on.
Yeah. What do they think like they could have done more or something?
Yeah, sometimes. And then it's...
I mean, my grandparents are happier because they are happy because they came from shithole, so they basically made all the five.
I mean, they're mostly happy, but they do have something, right?
Yeah,
they do
yeah,
have
okay,
some stuff.
yeah. For my grandparents, I never talked about what are they not happy about. Maybe that's something I have to ask. Yeah.
Yeah, then you can see, maybe I should avoid that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, life experience-wise, they are the kings, obviously.
Yeah.
Because they have the most of it. Most repetitions in that way. So just seeing what they did and didn't do can help to see or like show what the fuck to do for me. Because they have some things that might help them out. I mean, it was when they grew up, it was the most prosperous time ever, right? So Jesus Christ.
So Norway might not be a long-term staying living situation for you at the moment.
Yeah, because so some of the reasons is the tax, some of the reasons is the comfort, which is somewhat deterring, and then the last thing is starting a business in Norway/Europe is a lot harder.
Yeah. It's harder to scale, harder to thrive. I don't think the word thrive is often used in European startups. You know what I have found so far in like trying to start a couple of companies in Europe is every startup that they start here and they become somewhat successful wants to ship to USA as soon as possible. Like 1 or 2 years. Like let's just go there, please.
They just make it so much easier.
Yeah.
Because it was just, it was, I think Peter Attia or something, his podcast, The Drive or something. He had a guest on and he just mentioned it so nicely.
Who, Feng Zhang? Did you see
I'm
that?
not sure if it was Fenjan. It was not Fenjan because
Okay.
it was a Caucasian man.
Okay, what was the topic about?
No, it was just, he, funnily enough, he mostly talked about how to be satisfied as a man, which is a
Oh, the
weird
Theo
topic.
one? I think that's the one you're saying. The
But did you send it to me?
Yeah. The Theo one, right? What is masculinity, right?
Yeah, that guy. But he talked a lot of weird stuff about masculinity. But some things were nice.
Yeah.
So he started companies.
Yeah.
And he's talked to people that also started companies, and he mentioned something really nicely. Like, I don't agree with everything he said, but some of the stuff he was there.
Yeah.
And he said that you only have to be good in America, but you have to be great in Europe just to make it work.
Yeah.
So that
which apparently we might not be the one to be yet, mostly ever.
Yeah. So in order to hit, we don't really get to hit the great bar.
Yeah.
So at least the good bar seems more attainable.
Yeah.
I love Norway though. That's the problem.
That's the problem.
And like I talked to my brothers about this stuff, and it was like, no, but the politics seems to be changing, so maybe in Norway we'll change the tax code so it becomes more favorable.
Yeah,
but the thing is that relies a lot on maybes, right?
Yeah, and also like how much do you think it will be changing? It will be changing like 1%, 0.5. Dude, they will the change in Europe is so slow and small.
It's a steady, predictable.
It does not even matter.
You won't be like suddenly hit with a huge wave of something. But the thing,
it's good and bad, but in our case it's bad.
In our case it's bad because it's a very nice place to just be average in a way, I would say. But if you want to do something more, it sucks you down slightly.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you are ambitious, it might not.
At least trying to be, so then it will suck you down.
Yeah.
So my argument for that is that back home you have to, he wants a certain party to be elected, and if that party is elected, they might implement some policies that can help businesses start in Norway. You see how much that relies on probability? I mean, if anything,
and has anybody who trusted on politicians? Sad a
you
success story. Wrote a book, wrote a movie.
You want to wait and trust politicians so that you can maybe start, or do you want to go to somewhere else where it's already happening?
Where at least the landscape is all set, where there is like an ecosystem built. Like for example, Silicon Valley, right? It's there. Like you just have to go and start.
And it has a lot of culture in it as well. So a big problem is that you won't meet a lot of ambitious people in Norway. For me, anyway, you meet a lot of people that just want to exist.
Yeah.
So it's harder to meet people that want to do more stuff. But in America, that you just go to the big cities and you just walk around and hopefully find somebody. You know, you're more likely. Yeah. That's all. It's not guaranteed. It's just more likely.
Like nothing can be guaranteed. But the thing is also like apart from the startup thing, like we also talked about the research or something. Like what is your plan for like stable income while you are at it? Like wherever you are, it doesn't even have to be USA.
So the problem is, or you can start in the Middle East. But then again, the same problem I think is it's a lot easier tax-wise, like starting the business. But again, meeting people that are ambitious is a bigger problem because you don't meet great people in Qatar or Middle East. Because the problem there is that you usually have to have a person from Qatar in your company. Even though he does nothing, he does absolutely nothing. That's so common. Like my dad worked in Qatar a couple of times, right? They have to have a Qatari person controlling stuff. They don't do anything.
And you basically have to send a cut to them, but that's how the businesses work.
That's their instead of taxes they got that, so that's fine. But again, meeting ambitious people can be a little bit harder sometimes. But where was I? In the U.S. it seems a little bit easier. But it was something else I wanted to say.
Yeah, like how are you gonna get a stable income?
Yeah, that was the one. So what sucks about moving to the U.S. or the Middle East, maybe not so much the Middle East, is that you have to redo the vet. You're not qualified
Yeah,
as a vet.
licensing exams, right? Yeah, you
Then
cannot
lovely.
immediately practice. Yeah, that's true.
You can.
And once again, if you are gonna practice being a vet, once again the same story.
Issues.
You will have no life. You cannot start business. You can never be financially free. You'll be married to your clinic, and life will fall apart. So yeah.
I just see so many people back in Norway though. Oh, also the growth is so slow.
And the thing is, I talk to people from USA as well, right? Some people in our classes, and then people from other countries. Everywhere, the same situation.
Mm. In
Like-
what way? Say.
Like the workaholic situation, including USA.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The
Dude,
vet
like
stuff.
the
Yeah.
US colleague that we have, like they were saying, like they won't even, they never sat.
Yeah. That's so common, by the way. You'll hear people complain about it. When I worked in the clinic, they were so kind of grateful that we were so many extra people because during the summer they get a lot of interns, like 3 or something, which is a huge boost to the teams, like a 30-40% increase in just the amount of people. And they were so grateful because now they could sit and eat their food, which is such a weird thing.
Yeah. It's
Be
like
happy
a
about.
privilege thing if you fucking had time.
I get to eat food today.
Yeah, like and also I'm a person who loves to cook and eat. Like my entire point of earning is what eat. Like if I can't even eat my food.
Yeah,
like,
and not only the eating part, but if you don't eat, you'll get cranky and you'll just have a bad environment.
And basically, your fucking biological clock is fucked. You eat like shit.
You don't sleep because you get midnight calls too. That's also really common. You might be the one who's stuck on guard duty for a couple of days.
Obviously, in our case, we will be the one. So
yeah, because you'll be the first guy, right? So
and
then you take calls.
Pressure, the graveyard shifts.
Then you take calls 24 hours, so you don't sleep. I mean, you do sleep. You try to sleep, but you will be awoken by calls.
Yeah.
You're required to take calls if they come in. So that can also happen. Yeah, the overworking, it isn't a culture. Everyone's trying to avoid it though. So it isn't a culture though. It's not like pride. That's good. I would say that's a good thing because it's not prideful like it is in certain professions where you're like, oh, I didn't sleep at all. I'm so much cooler. It isn't that. It's just like they're unwillingly doing it and everyone's unwillingly doing it.
That's the situation, right?
Yeah, it's just how it is. That's how you make it go around.
Yeah. So what is your way of getting a stable income though?
I mean, honestly speaking, as of right now, I've just doing the route that most of my friends are already doing, which is, I mean, if you just work in a restaurant, that's enough to live somewhat, as long as you don't live in a huge city.
Yeah, but
you see those kind of things.
But you cannot start a company when you live in a fucking outskirts place, right? And living in USA, assuming in a big city, might be a nightmare if you just work in a restaurant, you know?
Yeah, but it is an option. You get to do at least something.
What do you think about the PhD route, though?
The PhD route?
What are the drawbacks do you think it is?
Just that I won't be accepted. I don't
see
any reason.
That, like that's something like every student does, right? Like I also can say the same thing. What if I am not getting accepted? That means like.
I think it's unlikely for you not to get accepted.
Yeah, but that's the same thing I can say for you also. But you just cannot believe it. That's the problem.
Yeah,
you just think
I see.
But it's not because of the qualifications and all, dude. Like it's not like that. You know, like it will be so weird. You know, sometimes so unpredictable. You might get accepted. I might get rejected. You know. It could be of different reasons. Maybe you have age and you are younger. For me, I'm too old. Maybe that's why they reject me. Like there are so many moving parts don't know. Also, political climate as well also affects sometimes the education system. There are already too many Indians, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, especially now that they're turning more.
Yeah, so it's like you see, right? Yeah. So it's going to be weird. It's very hard to tell actually. So yeah. So that's the only drawback you are seeing?
Yeah, I just don't know what it entails, the profession at all, almost.
Like the PhD route?
Yeah, I just don't know what the hell they do.
Ah, okay, yeah. Yeah.
At least for like the restaurant stuff. I have so many friends working in restaurants back home. And they have a fair amount of time I mean, they do work
Mm.
for some time, but once they're home, they're home. Like
For
that's
me,
it.
the hardest part is doing a physical job. I'm good at like computer jobs, like software jobs. So it's like I'm happy to work from home. I just
Yeah.
don't want to do physical jobs. That's my thing. That's why PhD means it's more like lethargic, somewhat like not lethargic. That's a wrong word. Like more like relaxed and still focused at the same time, not sweating yourself. Like there is no back breaking work. I'm not like fucking dead like after the research.
Yeah, you're not floating around.
Yeah, it's just like another day. If I am overwhelmed today, I study some research papers today. Maybe tomorrow I can do something. I can continue if I don't want to do today. It's
But
basically continuation of your education.
yeah, but there's so many jobs
Ah.
available though. So I think if you just look a little, because just think about like my brother's job, my older brother's job. He's a technician for medical equipment. He has so much time.
I mean, actually, what you said is a valid point. The one drawback I discovered from talking to you is like, if you're in PhD, you are still kind of stuck to it in a way. You have an obligation to maybe complete it, I guess. I mean, you can still drop out, but I'm just saying it's like a loss, right, when you drop out. But in your case, quit and change the job. Or quit when your startup takes off, I guess.
Or if you earned enough money for the month or something, you can change or at least move.
Yeah, there are so many options. So that might be a valid point. Maybe you as a foreigner, like a European.
And there's plenty
for
of people.
Me, as an Indian, I don't think I can even try that route because I'm a Indian.
Yeah, passport. There is something to consider is that there is genuine prejudice sometimes.
Yeah.
Actual genuinely prejudice.
Yeah.
Like, I remember working in the clinic and they instantly thought I was the doctor. And then... Like, some people would come in and be like, oh, these women shouldn't be doctors.
Okay.
And that's in Norway. You're like, dang, okay, jeez.
That's why when I used to wear the scrub and go to the clinic for working, they sometimes ask me something. I'm like, I don't know what you're asking. I have no idea.
Yeah, and you will meet racist people as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and sometimes it's just some people are very tribal. In that way, if it was an Indian owner, they might not be as accepting towards non-Indian.
Yeah.
But
in academia, that's one thing that will not happen, so I'm happier. No, I was talking about the political situation. Like, if with my Indian passport, I cannot get a H1B visa to work in a restaurant so that one day I can start a company. Maybe it is possible if you're an Norwegian.
Yeah, it will happen quicker.
For me, there are already billion Indians doing that there, probably.
Yeah, how will you stand out? I mean, you do have more...
Not stand out, like they won't even let me in. Dude, we have enough of dishwashers, buddy. We don't need you. You're an overqualified dishwasher. Why you don't want you, right? Something.
That's very funny.
Yeah, that's why I think my route for me makes sense. For you, what you said is genuinely true. You have no obligation. You can come to Norway in 6 months if you think that's not work. If you are in a PhD, you have to fucking drop out and take the L there. So
you know what's really funny? I talked to my brother, and then they apparently talked to my dad, like him and my dad talked together. Not my youngest brother.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Only them two. So they was like they just talked and were like, if Trump doesn't win, and it doesn't cause more conservative change in the world, and this kind of woke thing continues, and Norway doesn't adapt, they would move to the US. But now Trump won, so now they probably won't move to the US. So that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's like, dang. If only. That would be better for me, maybe.
Yeah.
But it just shows that they had that on the table too. So they could probably understand if I
what you're saying,
And also, it's not like it's permanent, right? I could also just go back once it's over, or if it doesn't work.
Whenever, at any instant. One flight ticket.
We looked at the flight price. It's $600 to fly over from
Same
Norway.
like going to India.
Yeah, but 600 is not bad.
Yeah, of course.
And also, if you get it really cheap, you can get it down to like 500, 450. So that's good.
You buy a round trip, you can get it for $1,000 to and fro, like 1,100.
But then you have to leave at some point.
No, I'm just saying that, yeah,
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
If you
I'm
go,
always prepared for round trip, right? Indians is like, you go there, okay, we have to plan when we are coming back also.
you want to plan before you go when you leave.
Yeah,
Because
because
like
the others
India.
ticket prices are fucking nuts. I paid
Yeah.
thousands of euros for
I
you.
remember you pay like 1,400 or
Yeah,
something
something like that.
for
The
just the round trip.
going to India after 6 years. Like, I was like, motherfucker, I don't want to care how much it costs. Take my kidney also. I was like,
Yeah.
I want to go back, man.
Are you gonna go back anytime soon?
I mean, this summer.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Are you gonna pay for that?
I mean, hopefully I have a job still.
Hopefully I make some money.
Yeah, otherwise I have to find a restaurant job.
Hmm.
Washing dishes, I
That'd be
guess.
very, very funny. We talked about this too. That's the most Indian thing you can do. You have double PhDs, double masters,
Still.
and very relevant topics, and then you're just a dishwasher.
Yeah.
All that for just being a dishwasher.
Yeah.
So,
Dude, we did like freaking 41 minutes. Wow.
but
Awesome.
is there anything else? I mean,
We can continue also about this topic.
Yeah, we can
Because
split it up.
It's not like a freaking one.
once off.
It's like you are finding the answer by the end of this episode. No. Like now you came to a conclusion, right? Like
That it's somewhat more comfortable.
now you have to next maybe analyze like is it even possible to get like a job like thing and you can how it's still H1B lottery by the way, like if you go there like you will still go under H1B category. Already it's a broken visa system. How are you gonna
Yeah.
but if you go through academia you can
I do have a friend though that
Hmm.
didn't do it in US. He did it in Australia.
Dude, they are very very different, man.
Mm.
Canada and Australia are becoming very similar these days. Tyrannical the governments, I don't know. Yeah.
So they want people in. Okay, I think we'll
Awesome.
wrap it up for now then.
Yeah.
And
And
then we'll
see you guys in
continue it.
another video. We did a lot of gaming shit and I've talked a lot. You guys can check out our other podcasts about politics and education and business and yeah, let us know if you want to talk about something that
Yeah.
we miss.
Comment anything.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
We haven't seen anything. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all we have.
See you.
See ya.